Let's get it.
Praise the Most High, family. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him. Today is an absolutely gorgeous day here in the Carolinas. Warm already, quite warm already. But I'm so glad to see it because this is the day that He has made, the Most High that is, for us to rejoice in and be glad with Him. To find our very being in it, to get our day started with Him. Hallelujah. Pardon me, and hopefully I can edit some of that loud noise out. We're right up the street from where we're going. I hope everyone is well, if I hadn't already said it. And that you're finding your very being in Him today also. Enjoying this beautiful day. I did have a great thought I wanted to share today, and it is truth. Or should we say truth is our freedom fighter. Truth is our freedom fighter. I can hear the wheels are spinning in our heads today saying, Rob, what you mean by that today? And that is a very great question. Simply because you do know we're talking about an individual who said himself that I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And we do know that that's Yahushua HaMashiach, the Most High salvation speaking. Yahuwah's salvation. And our main text for today is, besides that John 14:6, which we just read, is John 8:31 and 32. And this is Yahushua speaking once again. He said, to those who believe in me, if you continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Notice it didn't say like some versions say set you free. Because if it set you free, you're liable to get caught up again in bondage. But when you're made free, you're no longer going to be caught up in bondage. Because you know you have knowledge now. You have the knowledge of who you are and whose you are. And that whose you are is fighting for you. He's fighting for you. And as we spoke in the prior recording, this who that we're speaking on is the great I am. In the person of Yahushua HaMashiach, his salvation. Or we can call him Yahuwah Sabaoth. Most High's warrior, or we can say the Most High warring. So he's called the Elohim of heaven's armies. So we know he's fighting for us. So with that in mind, we have to go to Ephesians 6:11 through 13, and that text tells us our part of the fight. Hallelujah. It says, put on the whole armor of the Most High that you may be able to stand against the wiles of Hasatan. Oh boy. What are the wiles of Hasatan, Robert? What are wiles? Great question. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against, here's the wiles, the principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness. Oh boy. Against the spiritual wickedness in high places. Oh boy. So that's the wiles of the Hasatan, or should we say that's how he fights. He fights the spiritual war. Because if I can get your mind, then I got you. But when we fight, putting on the whole armor of the Most High, and we're arming ourselves against his mental and spiritual attacks. Therefore, whipping him in the physical. Because as I heard a teacher teach on last evening, the war is all spiritual. Everything starts in the spiritual, and then it's manifest in the physical. But everything in the physical has its foundation in the spiritual, or the Ruach. Praise the Most High. And this young lady was saying that Hasatan has been winning that war between the spiritual and physical realm. He's been cut short stopping the Most High's word and stealing that word from us, which tells us no weapon formed against us can prosper. Pardon me. Which gives us the insight that my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And that's the script we read over in the prior recording. It said that grace, grace and shalom are multiplied to you by the knowledge of Yahuwah and Yahushua HaMashiach. So when we get the knowledge of him, we're empowered. Not only with grace, what some would call the Most High's unmerited favor, and its actual power for the situation that we have nothing to do with. But also shalom. And peace means more, shalom means more than just the English word peace. Shalom means everything taken care of. You don't have to worry about a thing. And see, this is half the battle. This is half of our mental battle. Our concern, and I dare say some of our worries about tomorrow, about what would come. And that reminds me of this commercial, this St. Jude's commercial, which is very troubling to me. Because they have a little young lady, a little girl up there saying, I had nothing to worry about until this cancer. So that lets you know the mentality of some folks as opposed to other folks. But we're not to get caught up into all that. We're to totally rely on the Most High and totally depend on him. So indeed, we will have nothing to worry about, even when the cancer of sin, Hasatan, tries to enter our lives. We have one answer for him. And that's simply no, because I know the truth. So I'm free. He has made me free. And see, that's the whole key to this walk with the truth, Yahushua HaMashiach. He makes us free. He makes us a new creation. So that old things are passed away, and now all things have and are becoming new. I say have because our spirits are regenerated at that moment, and our bodies. But it's the Ruach that it's the mental that needs to be regenerated. As the text says, let this mind be in you that was in Yahushua HaMashiach, and also that that mind has to be renewed through the Most High's word, which is the truth. And see, the text calls Yahushua the living word of the Most High, his word made flesh. Praise the Most High. He's our freedom fighter. Not no man. Not no woman. Now, of course, men and women go ahead and champion his cause and champion his righteousness, his way of doing things. But we don't depend on no kind of individual, just the Most High, Yahushua HaMashiach. The Most High's salvation for us. Pardon me. Now I can't expect folks tapped onto this. They thought I was going to be talking about fighting. Fighting, folks. But no. The text says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against those principalities. And those principalities are set up in each nation to continue this one world order, which is the colonization of the Most High's people. Wherever we were scattered to, basically to keep control of the Most High's people. But we know for a fact that all that is over now. Like the song says, it's over now. No more. No more. I can't take this no more. And that's our stance. We can't take it no more. And we're not. Just as this young lady said, we have been bound mentally for so long, these 400 years. Just like at any given time, physically, we could have overwhelmed our oppressors. But we was actually spiritually in bondage. So mentally we was in bondage. But when Yahushua came, he came to set us free. And the whole point of that freedom is him saying our time is up. Pardon me, family. And we coming into the knowledge of who we are, which the text says, in the land of our captivities, we will remember ourselves. We will remember who we are as the Most High's chosen people. And with that, we don't sit on this knowledge, we share the truth, the living word of the Most High. We say you too can be free, because he is our freedom fighter. And he's about to crack the sky, but he's not coming back with smiles. No. He's coming back as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Oh boy. And he's not smiling. He's coming back with a rod of iron. And what you suspect he's gonna be doing with that rod of iron? That's right, judging the earth for those that have oppressed his people. He's coming back with a vengeance. That's why the text says vengeance is his, it's not ours. So we have no kind of right to be trying to fight physical battles. No, it's not up to us. That's his fight. Now, of course, I'm not saying you don't take care of yourselves, because Yahushua told his boys that during the day to go get them a strap. He told them to go get that sword. And one of the boys spoke up and said, "Well, I have two. Is this good enough?" He said, "That'll do," if I'm not mistaken, in my own words. He said, "Yes, sir, that'll do." But that lets us know, it gives us the idea or the indication that we too must protect ourselves. We too must defend our household. Now, it's not saying we're taking up arms going trying to fight folks. No. We'll never win. All over the world, the oppressor of the Most High's people are strapped. And the text says that's who they will be. Men of war. But we have the Elohim of war on our side fighting for us. So we choose his way of doing things. We choose him for our freedom. We don't try to fight our own battles. Just as Yahusha told his boys, our ancestors, our forefathers. He said, pretty much told them what he tells us in the script. Pardon me. He said, the battle is not yours, it's mine. I'm gonna fight this battle. And basically, just like we need to do, all we need to do is put on the whole armor and stand. And that's what they had to do. And as I heard two Morays say, praise the Most High, thank you, Father, that our weaponry is crying aloud and sparing not. Of course, according to what the Most High tells us to say and to speak or to cry out loud. See, that's where our power is, open our mouths and saying something. Opening our mouths and saying something. Giving our mouths over to him and saying, this is your vessel, I'm your vessel, speak through me. And this is every single day we walk on this earth. And it's called the sword of the Ruach, the sword of the Spirit, which is Yahushua HaMashiach himself, the living word. Praise the Most High. We need to go on ahead towards our job. Thank the Most High, family. So today's idea should give us comfort, as yesterday's idea definitely gave me comfort. It's all about a trust, and it all starts mentally. If you can get that stinking thinking out of your head, as my mother would say, then you're well on your way. You're well on your way to manifesting freedom in your own and personal lives, and therefore going on to manifest freedom in your brothers and sisters' lives. Because you're going to actually open your mouth and tell them, hey, this is what set me free. I found the truth, and he made me free. He's my freedom fighter, and he'll do the same for you. Praise the Most High, family. That's going to be my time for today. Truth is our freedom fighter. Is truth your freedom fighter today? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Because either you're free or you're bound. You're either free or you're in bondage. Bound. Thank the Most High. Today I am free. In so many ways. But it all starts mentally, as I said, which has a great impact on the physical. Because you can be mentally bound by a situation and your body physically calls, just like when you're addicted to drugs, alcohol, that body is calling for that addiction, whatever you're addicted to. But it's up to us, as I said, to say no. And we can only say no by the knowledge that we have, the knowledge of the truth. Mashiach himself. Praise the Most High. And it's so good to know him and for yourself. See, that's the only way we can be free, is to have personal knowledge of freedom. When you get a knowledge that the door is wide open, as I said before, our ancestors or forefathers could have easily overtaken our oppressors. We outnumbered them, and we had the power physically. Could have physically overtook him. But our mental capacities were so bound, we were basically in bondage.